I used to be the National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister of Israel. I told him, I've been to Tunisia many times. You know who Mr. Zarouk is? We did the change. We actually caused the change in Sudan. Mrs. القروي was there too. Ghazi was there. We had an interesting conversation. Incompetent and, sorry to say, also stupid. There were two contracts, by the way. Nabeel and Salwa Karui trust account came straight from there, 150,000. It's provable. The wife made it. It was made only last week, by the way, after they demanded that thing. Chief lawyer of the United States Justice Department, Farah, calls. We're trying to help everybody right now in Tunis to get out of a mess by bringing in the Americans, trying to work everything out. And again, we're not doing it for money. We're not doing it for anything. We're trying to clear the mess. I can help him with the Muslim Brotherhood, and it would be good to create a coalition. We presented it to him, and he said it's a good idea because this will stabilize Tunisia if we do a coalition that would have both we were invited to go see him by himself through a middleman that lives in Canada. We spent 2 days. When I say we, I mean my assistant and myself, Demi. She was there with me. We spent 2 days with him. We were staying at the Four Seasons Hotel in Tunisia, and then the first day we met him at a house that he said it's his business center, very nice house on the beach in Tunis, and basically he was sure, 100% sure that he was going to win the election and he's going to become president. And he wanted to hire us, not for the election. He wanted to hire us to help him create a new Tunisia according to him. When I first met him the first day, he was very emotional because he said the anniversary of his son's death was coming up. It was close by and thing. And then his brother was there and his team of people were there. We had a very nice conversation. We spent hours together talking about the possibilities of creating his presidency as a peace presidency in the region. He wanted us to put together the warring sides in Libya to bring to Tunis. And he wanted to call it create a peace center in Tunis after his son's name. His brother was also there, very emotional about the matter, and they said, if anybody can do it, you guys can do it. And we were talking then about doing a meeting between the two warring sides in Libya and Moscow with the supervision of President Putin. He said, why can't we, because he was so sure that he was going to win in the first round, why can't we wait and bring them here and invite President Putin to come? That's on the one side of it. On the other side of it, he wanted to get Tunisia out of the French orbit and bring it into the orbit of the United States. He was an Anglophone. He spoke English. His brother spoke English. The people he worked with spoke English. Okay, this was the first. This is to set how the meetings started. It was very emotional, very practical, very interesting thing. But right off the bat, he says, I do not have the right people. The people around me are not very good. I told him, I've been to Tunisia many times. Tunisian people are very smart, very educated. I'm sure we can find a whole team to help you. And that was his thing. And he was impatient to get started. And we were talking about very different subjects that we can work with. That was the first day. Second day, we were invited to his house for dinner. Demi and I were there. That's the day the first contract was signed. There were two contracts, by the way.
Il y a un contrat signé par M. Nabeel directly?
No. Let me explain. The first contract, he wanted it with our UK affiliate. We have a company in England that works with us. It was signed by me, and not by me. It was signed by our UK director on the one side, and by Mr. Yusuf Zarrouk on the other side, who was there with him at the house. They were all together there. You know who Mr. Zarrouk is?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the first contract. Anyway, it was a very pleasant evening. We even had the best, very good sushi. Mrs. القروي was there too. Ghazi was there. We had interesting conversation. The first contract was signed there, and it called for a payment of $1 million. The first contract is exactly a mirror of the contract that was published. Now, we'll get into detail, I think. And the evening finished only because I had to go with them to the airport. We had a 2:10 a.m. Air France flight to Paris. So we had to leave. So the evening was very long, very interesting. And he was talking of his vision of Tunisia after he becomes president. And he was sure that on the first round he will win. And he showed me the polls at the time. There were 34% for him, and the closest one was 16% behind. But I also explained to him that Tunisia, in my view, is also a conservative country, and I used the word, you should be more Muslim or traditional, yes? But you have to have young people around you, people that know things, but you should also be more traditional, because Tunisia is a traditional country. He approached us, we believe, he also said so, because we have consultancy agreements in Sudan and in Libya. But in Sudan, it was very interesting. At the time, he said, you showed how successful you were in Sudan, because we did the change. We actually caused the change in Sudan. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we got to know each other closely over 2 days, and then after I came back to Montreal, there was at least 6-7 times a day talking on the phone back and forth here with him over things, and he kept on, and he wouldn't say why on the phone. He said, I want you back in the next 2-3 days. I agreed, okay, no problem. As I was in the airport in Trudeau, about to leave to Tunisia, I got a call saying he was arrested. Please don't come today. Okay, fine. But Demi did go a day later. I wanted her to see what's going on. Yeah, did go a day later. Now, next thing that occurred, we said that we could help him in the United States right now, but to do this, we have to show some sort of payment and so on and so forth. First of all, is through his lawyer and through the middleman, they said, please take the contract and put it under your name, because it's to make it more thing, which we agreed to. But since he was in jail, they found a gentleman, they said he's his representative that will sign the contract by... Yeah, that's correct. They said they will sign it. No problem.
Est-ce que Mohamed Bouderbel est un Tunisien?
Sorry?
Is Tunisian man, Mohamed Bouderbel?
Is he a Tunisian?
Yes, he is a Tunisian man, they said. I never met him.
Okay.
But he is a Tunisian man. And they said he is his representative just because he's in jail. He'll sign the contract. Okay.
Est-ce que vous avez rencontré M. Mohamed Bouderbel?
No, I've never met him. Okay. Then, after the contract was exchanged, they demanded that that we register the contract and start working in the United States right away. Now, we explained to them that there's $1 million payment there, and it isn't because of the money. It was because there's a U.S. law that says if there's a amount, you have to register it with the government and so on and so forth. They called back and said They don't have the money. And I remind everybody that on the first day when after meeting them, I told Demi privately that these guys don't have any money, and it's nonsense that he's a billionaire and this and that and thing. It's all nonsense. But he's very charismatic. He can change Tunisia. We can help him change Tunisia for the better, and he can westernize Tunisia with a Muslim character. I keep on repeating that thing. Now, and also, he was worried about the fact that I'm originally from Israel, and I explained this to everybody. Yes, I used to be the National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister of Israel, but I broke with them off because after the Oslo peace process, which I was the author of, one of the authors of, they didn't go along with a peace deal with the Palestinians, so I left. Okay, but I have nothing to do with the Israeli government, or neither does this company.
Oui, il savait dès le début cet espoir.
Sorry?